So many big stories to get through. I hope you are well. William and Charles form a united front against Prince Harry. King Charles issues a health update on his cancer battle, and it's better news than expected. Plus, shock new figures reveal King Charles's true wealth. All of that to come. But first, Meghan Markle's bitter feud with Britain's second royal family, the Beckhams, David and Victoria Beckham, has taken a dark turn. And it tells you everything you need to know about manipulative Meghan Markle. Now, tragically, the Beckhams have been dumped and completely disowned by one of their own children, their eldest son, Brooklyn, stolen from under their noses by an ambitious US billionairess called Nicola Peltz, whose father, Nelson Peltz, is one of America's richest businessmen, owning multiple companies, including a stake in Wendy's Burgers, reportedly one of lazy Meghan Markle's favourite outlets. She rarely cooks, as her egregious television show demonstrated. Now, the boy Brooklyn has cut off all ties with his family, who have done, by the way, so much for him. This boy was born into a world of complete privilege, riches, fame, the perfect life, but he's walked away from all of it and now lives in a gilded cage in a multi-million-dollar mansion in California with his pushy, hands-on American wife. Does that sound familiar? Are there parallels, do you think, between the Beckhams and the Sussexes? So, David and Victoria, who themselves are worth $1 billion and are two of the most famous people in the world in their own right, are still reeling from the absence of their beloved eldest son from David Beckham's 50th birthday celebrations, some of which happened in London at exactly the same time that Brooklyn and Nicola were also in the capital. Can you imagine being in the same town as your father and not attending his 50th birthday celebrations? It's shocking. It's shocking what has happened to that relationship, how it has irretrievably broken down. Now, losing a beloved child to a reportedly manipulative and controlling new spouse is heartbreaking, and something to which King Charles can obviously relate, given that that's exactly what happened when Meghan married Harry, turning him against his own family, just like the Beckhams, turning him against the monarchy in the case of the royals, and of course, turning Harry against his own country. So you've got Harry rattling around a 16-bathroom Montecito mansion, and now you've got Brooklyn rattling around an LA mansion, bored out of his mind, because he's another British lad that wants to have a few beers with his pals and have a normal life. But none of it is possible, and he's not even on speaking terms with the man that gave him this extraordinary life, David Beckham. So as the Beckhams grieve their lost son, Meghan is now rubbing David and Victoria's faces in it by hanging out with the disloyal runaway young couple and reportedly offering unwavering support. So apparently Meghan and Nicola have hit it off because, of course, they've both been cast as the homewreckers. Meghan, the homewrecker, Nicola, the homewrecker. Well, let me present to you, if I may, Milord, the evidence. Prince Harry lives in the United Kingdom. He was the most popular royal of all, even more popular than Queen Elizabeth II. He marries Meghan Markle. He falls out with his family. He falls out with the country, gives up his royal duties, and leaves Britain. I wonder if there is any connection between the nuptials between Meghan and Harry and his sudden dissatisfaction with his life in the UK and his sudden hatred of the family. I wonder, Milord, if there is any kind of connection that could be drawn upon. Similarly, Nicola Peltz, who, by the way, is a very beautiful young woman. I wish her no ill. There are always two sides to every story, but let me just give you the incontrovertible facts in the case, Milord, which is that Brooklyn Beckham was the eldest son of David and Victoria, the son and heir. They loved that boy. They do love that boy. And they lavished everything on him. A great education, untold riches, as I mentioned. I mean, they live in a $50 million London townhouse. It's not a townhouse. It's a street. That house is so big, it's virtually a neighborhood. You'd need a map to navigate that place. You'd need to actually fire up Google Maps just to get to one of the bathrooms. So it's a lovely house. Holland Park. You're welcome. A very nice part of London, let me tell you. And, the boy was doted on. I mean, David Beckham, when it was Brooklyn's birthday, he just said, I love you, Brooklyn. He writes that on social media, I love you, Brooklyn. I mean, it's quite hard for guys to be that emotional publicly, but David Beckham has never hidden his absolute adoration of his eldest son. And this boy, like I say, son and heir, because when Victoria and David eventually shuffle off this mortal coil, which will be a long time because both of their bodies are rather lean and rather in good nick, really. I mean, David Beckham has aged very well, as has Victoria. But when they do eventually pass, Brooklyn will be the heir to the Beckham, and it's not millions. It's not the Beckham millions. It is the Beckham billions. And this silly boy has fallen in love with an American actress who's also an animal rights campaigner. I mean, I guess the diary isn't that full with the acting work that she's got time for stray dogs. And obviously she's picked up a particular stray dog in Brooklyn Beckham, who has made a huge mistake, just as Harry made such a mistake all those years ago. I say that because, like I demonstrate with the facts, he marries this young woman and suddenly there's a falling out between the families, and he's in California and he doesn't speak to his dad. He doesn't go to his dad's birthday party. And Meghan has decided to support this couple and Harry as well. What a pair of numpties they are, by the way, Harry and Meghan, who ought to know better because they're older, aren't they? Harry's 40. Meghan's what, 43? She's getting old, man. She's getting old. Meghan is showing signs of mental fatigue. Meghan's not getting any younger. So, don't you know I'm not Meghan Markle anymore? I'm Meghan Sussex! So, this irresponsible couple, the Sussexes, okay, ought to know better because you are very wise, okay? And I read your comments and they're always really considered, they're very interesting, and you are a reflective group. And you're fair. I think you're fair. I feel that from the comments, and there's a lot of different opinions. The Mark Dolan Show is the home of diverse opinion. Whatever you think, it's welcome here. No one gets cancelled. Not on my watch. There are no unfashionable opinions on the Mark Dolan Show. So, you are very fair. And I think maybe you would agree with me that we can actually forgive Nicola and Brooklyn for their naivety and stupidity because they're a pair of kids, aren't they? They know nothing about the real world. They've both been born into privilege. They're very young. They're in their 20s. They're babies. They've made a mistake. I'm afraid to say that just as with Harry and Meghan, these two are not long for this world in terms of the marriage. Obviously, as you well know, on this show, we have Harry and Meghan on 24/7 Divorce Watch. And I fear that Nicola and Brooklyn will be on Divorce Watch too. That's quite clear. And let's hope there's a prenup. I'm sure there is. There'll be a prenup on both sides because both families are rich. It's like the nuclear deterrent, really. No one wants to press that button. So I think you'll agree, because you're very fair, that they are young and that they're a pair of silly sausages and that they've made a mistake, and that's fine. And they'll get a divorce and they'll still be young. Because, they're in their 20s now, and then they grow up a little bit, learn about the real world, and then remarry at 30 when they've actually matured. And then go on to have great lives, okay? That's what I wish upon them. There's no way, though, that those two will still be together in 10 years' time. Take my word for it. So, the bottom line is that, so they are young and they're naive. But Harry and Meghan are not, okay? Harry and Meghan are in their 40s. They do know a bit about the real world. And they've obviously had their ups and downs. It's not been plain sailing for Harry and Meghan in either case. But as the grown-ups in that foursome, the Sussexes and then the Beckham runaway kids, the Sussexes ought to have the maturity, the emotional maturity, and also the life experience to sit these kids down and say, what on earth are you doing? Brooklyn, why are you not talking to your father, David Beckham, who adores you and goes on social media to tell you how much he loves you? How can you be in London town on the same day as your father's 50th birthday and not be part of it with your other siblings? How can you, what's gotten into your head? And then Nicola, are you really comfortable with the fact that your husband, the man that you claim to love, isn't on speaking terms with his own family? As his spouse, is that not a concern of yours? Because any spouse worth their salt would be saying to Brooklyn, you get on a plane and you go to England and you hook up with your parents straight away and you say, I love you and thank you for everything you've done for me. So that's the grown-up conversation that you would expect from Harry and Meghan towards the runaway couple. But instead, what have you got, according to the papers, particularly the excellent Katie Hind in the Mail Online? Katie Hind is an extraordinarily good journalist, showbiz, entertainment journalist, royals. She's got, she knows her onions, is what I would say. Big fan. And so she has written about it. And she's clarified a few inaccuracies because Harry and Meghan, apparently, according to her erstwhile reporting, Harry and Meghan did not actually host this couple at their Montecito mansion for a kind of emergency Beckham summit, which is how it's characterized elsewhere. According to Katie Hind, who I trust, in fact, the Beckhams, the young Beckhams, the runaway Beckhams, and the Sussexes just happened to be at the same dinner party of a top media executive who runs Paramount in the United States. Because, of course, Harry and Meghan don't spend time with ordinary people. It's always multi-million-dollar TV executives, billionaire entrepreneurs. They've never seen a normal person and certainly shouldn't like to see one now. So that's what should have happened, is that Harry and Meghan, my husband, should have sat this couple down and said, what are you doing? You're making a terrible mistake. Instead, what Harry and Meghan have done, because they are extraordinarily toxic and destructive, is that they've enabled this couple and they've enabled the madness by reportedly saying that you have Harry in particular said, apparently, reportedly to Beckham, you've got my unwavering support because I'm the world's least happy millionaire. And so I'll hope that you can one day be the world's second least happy millionaire, just like me, being a misery guts, married to a controlling, manipulative, destructive, and toxic American wife. Just get rid of this yellow tape, it's distracting me. Look, by the way, can I tell you one thing? There is nothing wrong with American wives, because American women, where is the mic drop? I'm going to offer a mic drop for the women of the United States. It doesn't get better. Beautiful, intelligent, talented, wise, worldly American women. World class. What's unfortunate is that Harry and Brooklyn appear to have chosen the two worst American women you could possibly marry. And they're paying the price. Absolute disaster. So, I mean, honestly, Harry would have been much better off going to his local Hooters, the Montecito branch of Hooters, and picking up a good all-American gal. He'd be so much happier, wouldn't he, if he got himself a regular American girl that works in Hooters. The great thing about Hooters, I know it's a little old-fashioned. It's a little old-fashioned and politically incorrect. But the nice thing about Hooters, you certainly know, I mean, if you're looking for a prospective partner, you know what you're buying, don't you? By the way, just to be politically correct, what I would do with Hooters, which is it's a restaurant chain where the female staff are very scantily clad. But just to be like really groovy and politically correct, I would just say that I would have the guys have to do the same. So, you know, that way we're very equal, aren't we? You got, you know, the guy serves you and you get to see the guns and you get to see the abs, and that would be a lovely thing. But anyway, Harry would be so much happier if he'd, or just Denny's. Are you familiar with Denny's? What an excellent retail outlet that is. Very fine. The all-American breakfast, the hash browns, the fried eggs. Oh my goodness, the bottomless coffee. And he could have found a nice waitress from Denny's, and his life would just be. But instead, he made the mistake of marrying Meghan, and that's what Brooklyn's done, and it's a crazy thing. And now the Sussexes are poisoning this couple by encouraging them to distance themselves from the Beckhams, England's second royal family, and it's a terrible thing. And Meghan, by the way, clearly taking sides. And I think that's a terrible thing, particularly when the Beckhams did so much for Harry and Meghan before they got married. So where's the loyalty? Because it's quite clear that the week of this dinner party, now it may have been a coincidence that Harry and Meghan were at the same party as the Beckham kids, but the fact that it's been revealed that they've been supportive of this couple is so wrong, given the history between the Sussexes and David and Victoria Beckham. So it was reported that Victoria lent Meghan her all-important little black book of her favourite hairdressers and stylists in London. Victoria Beckham made Meghan Markle, who was a nobody in the United Kingdom when she came over here for the first time, made her feel welcome, showed her the London scene. Further details of their friendship were then shared in the press, which sparked a row between the four of them. So the quotes, according to an insider that knows the Beckhams well, Victoria was especially good to Meghan at the beginning, and it all got thrown back in her face. Well, Victoria has been a victim there. She's helped Meghan, and she's got no thanks for it. In fact, she's had it thrown in her face. Well, she's in good company. Thomas Markle Sr., Thomas Markle Jr., Samantha Markle, Piers Morgan, the royal family, Queen Elizabeth, the British people. We've all been good to Meghan and had it thrown back in their face. Why do you think I'm so furious? I am. I'm insulted by what she's done to this country and to our great royal family. So, lovely Victoria. She has been so loyal to Meghan at the beginning, helped her out. Got no thanks for it. Same with David. David, do you have any idea of the financial value and the PR value of David Beckham's name? Do you have any idea how potent that is as a resource? David Beckham puts his name to something like a whiskey or a sporting event or even a nation. I mean, he became the face of Qatar for a while because of the World Cup. When this guy puts his name to something, the value grows by billions. No, millions. Let's not get carried away. The value grows by millions. And that's why Adidas and Burberry and every brand you can think of, they want David Beckham's name on there. They want his face on there. So this guy generously gives his name for free to Harry, Prince Harry, the world's least happy millionaire. Humpy-dumpy-dumpy-dump. Humpy-dumpy-dump. Poor me, rattling around a 16-bathroom Montecito mansion. Humpy-dumpy-dump. So, that little brat, Harry, benefits from David Beckham's generosity and largesse and his PR status, his PR pull. And that included Invictus. And yet, guess what happened? Harry and Meghan got married in 2018. After the wedding, just a few weeks afterwards, Harry accused David and Victoria Beckham of leaking stories about Meghan. Do you honestly think that Victoria Beckham, who as one of the Spice Girls has sold 100 million records worldwide, that has a successful fashion line, which is worth millions, who's had the most perfect multiple career in both music and in fashion and as a celebrity, do you think Victoria Beckham hasn't got better things to do than peddle stories about Meghan Blinking Markle to the Sun newspaper? Do me a favour. This is Victoria Beckham we're talking about, one of the most famous women in the world. A Spice Girl. 100 million records sold. The fashion brand, founded in 2008. By 2019, Victoria Beckham's fashion brand had reached annual revenues of $75 million, with products stocked globally in over 400 stores, including Selfridges, Harvey Nichols, and Neiman Marcus. Refined tailoring, minimalist elegance, structured dresses. Victoria Beckham's been worn by Gwyneth Paltrow, Jennifer Lopez. She's been worn by royalty and celebrities alike. She's shown consistently at New York and London Fashion Week since 2009. Not easy. Critical praise, industry respect, nominated for multiple fashion awards, including Brand of the Year. And so she's getting it done. Do you honestly think that Victoria Beckham, with all of her achievements, one of the most famous women in the world, and unlike Meghan, actually really accomplished at the things she's done? Because Meghan thinks that she's an entrepreneur because she sold 11 jars of dusty jam. And yet Victoria has turned over millions from her incredibly elegant outfits, from the incredibly elegant fashion line, the dresses, the couture. She's a great, great fashion designer with great taste. Anyhow, so there's no way that Victoria Beckham is leaking stories to The Sun and People magazine and God knows who else, the New York Post, about Meghan Markle. She's got better things to do. And by the way, she's married to David Beckham. She doesn't need the approbation of the newspaper industry. She's made it. She's laughing and she loves her life. So David, being fiercely protective of his wife, Victoria, was reportedly absolutely BLOODY furious. I won't use that word because it's a family show. The kids can watch. Bring the kids in. They might learn something. American women, though. And Canadians. By the way, also Australian women and the New Zealand ladies. And European women and the ladies of Africa. You know where this is going. Women are the best. It's just very unfortunate that Brooklyn and Harry, of all the women in the world, chose the two worst. So this is a shocking thing. So that's the background to their relationship, is the egregious claim that Victoria Beckham was leaking stories to the press about Meghan Markle, sort of using the friendship to share stories. It wouldn't happen. Meghan then allegedly barred Harry from being photographed with David at the Invictus Games. So David's gone to Sydney, Australia. Hello, Australia, how are you? I get so many messages from the Australians, by the way, who are often having their breakfast, or it's the middle of the night. So if you are in Australia watching this now, watch the video, thank you, and then get yourself back to bed because you need your beauty sleep. Invictus Games in Sydney. And by the way, David's a busy guy. He's flown to the other side of the world because he lives in the UK to be the face of or to help out with Invictus. And when he gets there, he's banned from being photographed with Harry at the alleged orders of Meghan Markle. Tom Bauer's brilliant book, House of Beckham, reveals that Meghan issued an exclusion order against the Beckhams during Invictus. The quote was, photographs were forbidden. Meghan didn't want competition from Victoria. Of course not, because Meghan cannot handle competition from women of substance. We know the bitter Cold War that's been waging between Meghan Markle and Princess Katherine. Why? Because Katherine is so beautiful. She's so good at her royal duties. She's so dignified. She's the tops, isn't she? She is the ultimate princess, a born princess. Meghan hated it. She couldn't bear to play second fiddle to the Princess of Wales. And that bitter Cold War continues to this day. One that I'm delighted to say Princess Katherine is winning, hands down. By the way, did I call Katherine Kate? Apologies for that, because it is a rule of the Mark Dolan show to call Princess Katherine, and nothing else. So what an insult to David and Victoria, this treatment of them, with David not honoured with being allowed to stand next to Harry for a photo call, shows how, allegedly at least, petty Meghan Markle is. There have been no public interactions or photographs of Harry with David Beckham since 2018. Apparently David is still angry about the allegations. A source told the Mail Online, Brooklyn knows how hurt David and Victoria were when Harry and Meghan accused them of briefing stories about them. David, who's very mild-mannered, was absolutely furious. And what does Brooklyn do? he runs into the arms of Harry and Meghan, this couple that have been so viciously unkind about his own parents. Really, really silly. By the way, another bit of history between Meghan and Victoria Beckham is that Meghan reportedly asked for free clothes from Victoria Beckham's label. Does she pay for nothing? I mean, at this point, she's marrying into the royal family who are worth, as you're about to find out at the end of this video, an awful lot of money. And she's so cheap she won't pay for a dress? Anyway, luckily the palace, who are quite dignified and understand tradition, vetoed this. They said, no, you can't have freebies. That's not a good look for the royal family, because then it's like we've been bought. But this is Meghan Markle. She went to a James Taylor concert the other day and she got free books from this guy. This guy's done a gig, 2 hours. He's 77 years of age. He's done a gig. Exhausting experience. Great performer that he is. He's then got to pose for selfies with Prince Harry, who was dressed as a drug dealer, and Meghan, who's like, give me some books, please. Can I have some free books? I want free books. What free stuff do you have? Can we have ashtrays? Do you have any cutlery I can take home? I don't like paying for things. Seriously, what is wrong with this lady? Free dresses. What? I mean, free books. The world's gone mad. So the poor old Beckhams, I love them to bits. They are England's second royal family. I think that David should get a knighthood. But I've got big news for you. Princess Katherine has stepped into this row. And as Shakespeare once said, revenge is a dish best served cold. Princess Katherine, the Princess of Wales, has supported Victoria Beckham. Because just this week, she wore a Victoria Beckham designed suit at a British Fashion Council event. Now, this was May the 13th, and she presented the Queen Elizabeth II Award for British Design at London's 180 Studios, donning an olive green tailored suit from Victoria Beckham's label. This choice was seen as a significant endorsement of the designer's work. Katherine's appearance in Beckham's suit was interpreted by many as a gesture of support amid reported tensions within the Beckham family, particularly involving their son Brooklyn and his wife Nicola Peltz. We know how subtle Princess Katherine is. If she's going to enter a civil war, she's going to do it in a very elegant way. And what she's done is she's done that by choosing this outfit that suited her very well. I thought it was an unusual look for Princess Katherine. I've never seen her in that sort of olive green ensemble. But I think we can agree she could wear a bin bag and look good because she's blessed with natural beauty. But significant that she's got the Beckhams back. I mean, she is quite clearly in Team Beckham. And, because this is one of the rare times the princess has publicly worn Victoria Beckham's designs, making it a noteworthy moment in both royal fashion and the British fashion industry. And here's the other thing. It's quite clear that the Prince and Princess of Wales are completely in Team Beckham, right? They are all over Team Beckham like a rash. Because, again, Prince William, he's entered this row, but in a subtle way, by being incredibly supportive of David Beckham. So the two are close. So Beckham flew to Boston for the Earthshot Prize in 2022, which was seen as a snub to Prince Harry, because, of course, what's happened is Prince Harry has fallen out with Beckham. Prince Harry has accused Beckham of leaking stories to the press. So what does William do? William says to David Beckham, I know that my brother won't even be allowed to be photographed with you. But what I'm going to do is fly you to Boston for the Earthshot Prize. You're going to be one of the faces of this event. And I, as the future king of the United Kingdom, will pose for as many photos as you like. So Harry, put that in your pipe and smoke it. So this is a delicious maneuver by William. William reaches out to the Beckhams, as does Katherine with that outfit. And it's a very clear message to the prodigal prince, Prince Harry. Many have considered the invitation to David Beckham to come to the Earthshot Prize in 2022 as more evidence that the royal brothers are at war but also David Beckham's revenge for the Invictus Sydney snub. Be clear about this. There's no love lost between David and Harry now. And David is a lot more intelligent, a lot richer, a lot more powerful, a lot more credible than Prince Harry will ever be. So I would say the Sussexes are very naive. They've chosen the wrong enemies, because the two main families that they've waged war against are the royal family and England's second royal family, the Beckhams. And Beckham he just loves the royal family. And he said, David Beckham and Prince William have formed an alliance. And let me tell you that this alliance will endure for years and years and years. David said, whenever the Prince of Wales sends me a message, it's always a yes. Boom. And he's emotional about the royal family. He said, my family absolutely adored them. David appeared with William for the London Air Ambulance Charities Up Against Time appeal. Said it was an honour to do so. This is David Beckham, a busy man with a full diary, whose every minute is worth $1 million. But he donates that to the side of the royal family he likes, which is William. The side of the royal family that are actually in power and in Buckingham Palace. Not the expats over in California. So, and then it's very special. Charles and David Beckham met shortly after King Charles's cancer diagnosis. So Charles is diagnosed with cancer, earth-shattering bombshell news. And one of the first public engagements that the king has is with David Beckham. A clear message again. A big screw you to Harry. Because King Charles has taken a look at Beckham and thought, well, here's a decent guy, a decent family man, an accomplished guy. And they met at the Highgrove estate in Gloucestershire. And it was basically photographs of the king and David Beckham laughing and chatting outdoors in the gardens. Both appeared relaxed and cheerful during the visit. It was lots that they had in common, including a passion for beekeeping that they both developed during the that big 2020 to 2023 global health crisis. And very sweetly, David gifted the king a jar of his homemade honey. Charles responded, we shall have to do a swap. The guy is so good-humoured. During the visit, King Charles appointed Beckham as an ambassador for the King's Foundation. Beckham is the first ambassador named since Charles became king. And the foundation is a huge, brilliant thing. Beckham said his mother cried when she heard the news that he'd been placed in charge of this foundation as an ambassador. Truly brilliant, truly wonderful, and very clear evidence that the Windsors are in bed with the Beckhams and the Sussexes are out in the cold, shivering their knackers off. Before we go, let me give you some brilliant news about the king. And I'm so happy to share this with you. It's not conclusive news, but it's positive, and we need positivity at this time, do we not? So here's what's going on. King Charles has given a rare personal update on his health battles during an official visit to Bradford with Queen Camilla. He spoke to a former cancer patient whilst visiting Impact Hub Yorkshire, a local community enterprise supporting diverse businesses. During their exchange, the king said, I'd like to think, wait for this folks, if this doesn't cheer you up, I'd like to think I'm on the better side of my cancer journey. The conversation took place while Charles received a bouquet inspired by his Highgrove gardens from florist Safina Khan. Ms. Khan recounted the moment. She said, he asked me how I was, and I asked him how he was. There were some pleasantries towards the end, but it was a lovely conversation. She added that Charles gave her a thumbs up when she asked about his health. Now, the King's been receiving outpatient treatment at the London clinic for over 15 months, which is a long time to have cancer, following the diagnosis in early 2024. The specific type of cancer has not been diagnosed publicly, but the King pretty much resumed full work at the start of 2025 after showing positive progress after a brief hospital stay in March due to temporary side effects from treatment. He's flying to Canada. Hello, Canada, by the way. So many viewers in Canada. Did I mention Canadian ladies? He's going to Canada at the end of May to open the Commonwealth country's parliament there. There'll be a state visit from French President Emmanuel Macron, which won't be great for his recovery because Macron can be quite triggering at times. And he'll make it all about himself. But it was a wonderful visit, and it's great to hear that King Charles gave a thumbs up when asked how his health battle was going and said he was on, well, should we just go back to the direct quote? Because I've got to give you the better side. I'd like to think I'm on the better side of my cancer journey now. Isn't that the news we wanted to hear? I don't think it means that the poor man has beaten cancer, far from it. But isn't it great to get some positive news? And so much better than the messaging from Prince Harry, who in his disgraceful and traitorous BBC interview, after losing a court case against the UK government for armed security in the UK, Harry went on TV and essentially announced that his father was terminally ill. Because he said, I don't know how long he's got. I don't know how long my father's got. A disgraceful and shocking thing to say about your father. And hopefully, based on what I've told you today, hopefully wrong. Or at the very least, that Charles's cancer treatment is going well and it will give him precious, valuable extra time on this planet because we want that king around for a long, long time to come. A, because he's a great monarch, he's smashing it. And B, because it's too soon for William. I think William should enjoy the apprenticeship and I think he should enjoy his young family. And that's why I pray for so many reasons that Charles can recover and be around for many years to come. If he does, by the way, he won't run out of money. Would you like to know how rich he is? King Charles is now worth $800 million, which is up $37.5 million from the previous year. Whew, that's a chunk of change, isn't it? He is $337.5 million richer than Queen Elizabeth when she passed. So Queen Elizabeth was worth 462, and he's now rocking 800, which is pretty impressive, isn't it? His personal wealth includes Sandringham Estate in Norfolk and Balmoral Castle in Aberdeenshire. A privately held investment portfolio also adds to his riches, inherited from the late Queen. But by the way, he's actually richer than that, because not included in the valuation is the Crown Estate, the Duchy of Lancaster, and the Crown Jewels, which are in the Tower of London, which used to be a prison and I think should be reopened as a prison for disloyal Brits, treasonous Brits like Prince Harry and Brooklyn Beckham. They can sit in a cell together moaning about their terrible lives and have a bit of a think about themselves. I think it would be amazing if they could just open the Tower of London as a VIP prison to put these annoying rich celebs. His private estate, Sandringham in Norfolk and Balmoral, Aberdeenshire, were counted, belonged to the Queen, part of his financial fortune. Only personal assets included by the Sunday Times in their rich list, which is where this comes from, are included when assessing the sovereign's wealth. So the bottom line is the guy is very wealthy indeed. The drinks are on him. And do you know what? He deserves the money because he's a great guy. Thank you so much for your company. What a treat to chat today. We've got much more content to come. Please subscribe, like, hit the notification reminder bell if you can. I'm loving this journey with you. Thank you for your incredible support, your belief, your comments. Your comments are not part of the show. They are the show. So keep them coming. Tell me what you're loving, what you're not loving. And most importantly, let me know your opinions about what you've heard. Lots more to do soon. Can't wait for the next video. I'm itching to get back in this studio and bring you some royal truth bombs, among other hot topics. Bye for now. Stay awesome. Big love.